Hey guys, I've seen a lot of people talk about this Sacred Flame Shrine Scepter and talking about how it's so expensive. I think it's about 20 divines or something like that. But I've seen a bunch of people talking about how this thing is just way too expensive and that without it, they can't get the DPS they want, and that kind of thing. So I thought I would just make a quick video to share how you can do a little bit of a workaround with this if you can't afford one of these. There's a couple of things you can do that are kind of cheap options to get around this, and you'll still get similar damage without having to buy one of these. Seen someone in global chat talking about this, complaining that this thing's way too expensive. They'll never be able to afford it, all that kind of thing, right? And obviously, when you put this on, you get like a nice, healthy increase to your damage, right? So, you take it off. Lightning Spear says it does 29k. Put it on. Lightning Spear says it does 39k, right? So it gives you a big jump in damage because of the extra fire damage. But there's a couple of really cheap workarounds you can use. So as you can see, now I have 41k, right? So there's a couple of unique combos you can use to work around this, and this Crown of Eyes Coral Circlet is one of them. So what you do is you get this Crown of Eyes Coral Circlet, and it says increases and reductions to spell damage also apply to attacks. I thought everyone kind of knew about this combo, but it seems like a lot of people don't know about it. So I thought I better share this so hopefully people can find out about this. So you can get this, which increases and reduces spell damage, and it applies to your attacks, right? So all the increase and reduction of spell damage will boost your attacks. And then you can get this Threaded Light Woven Focus, right? So this increases spell damage per 10 spirit. So this increases spell damage to and applying it to your attacks, right? So it takes the increases. This increases your spell damage. So basically, if you have a bunch of spirit, you just get a bunch of damage, right? So you take that off, Lightning Spear jumps up 11,000, right? So you can use this combo here as your first discount option to avoid getting a Sacred Flame Shrine Scepter. See, it goes, Lightning Spear goes from 39k to 41k. So I'm actually doing more damage with my Lightning Spear with this cheap setup, right? It's just like a cheap, crappy setup, and you could get a better one of these too. But so if you don't have a Sacred Flame Shrine Scepter, you could just do the workaround this way, right? And then if you do that, you just take these three nodes right here. And you're almost everyone's going to be pathing this way if you're playing Amazon anyway. So just grab these three nodes right here. This spell damage while wielding melee weapons. Just grab these three nodes, and then that'll also add to that damage, right? So that's one workaround you can use to get around using a Sacred Flame Scepter. And since these things are so expensive, this is just a super simple, cheap workaround. You just grab this Coral Circlet, grab this Threaded Light Woven Focus, boom, bam. You get some spirit on your necklace, some spirit on your armor. That spirit gets added, increases your damage, and then you do a bunch more damage with your Lightning Spear. So if you can't get this, there's one workaround. Now this combo is pretty cheap. You could buy some good ones of these for a whole, maybe like 10 or 15 Exalted Orbs or something. You might be able to get some really good rolls on them for like 50 or 60. But then there's even another one that you can use, which is also a cheap workaround. So there's also this scepter, the Dark Defiler Rattling Scepter, and it gives you 6% of damage as chaos damage per undead minion. So that actually is kind of the same thing as the Sacred Flame Scepter. Now how that works is you go in and you have skeletal warriors, right? So you just turn on your skeletal warriors, and as you can see, I have 39k damage because I have 10 skeletal warriors, right? So that's 50% more damage. So as you can see, I switch them around, 39k, and I'm still with this on. My Lightning Spear is still doing 39k. And if I take it off, my Lightning Spear is doing 29k, right? So you can run this and then run some undead minions, and you can kind of use that like a cheap discount version of this scepter, right? So if you can't afford this scepter, and this scepter is like one Exalted Orb, right? So don't come at me being like, this is not a solution. Dude, this is 100% a solution. It's cheap. And like this one's corrupted to give you 6% damage. So like you could probably buy a corrupted one for like 10 or 20 exalts or something. But you literally just, if you can't afford this because you don't have 25 divines, you can buy this for like a couple of Exalted Orbs and just run some skeletons. Or you can buy this and just run this combo with the Coral Circlet and the Threaded Light Woven Focus, and that solves this problem for you. So if you can't afford one of these, just do this, right? Get one of these, or get one of these, get some undead minions, right? More undead minions you have, obviously, the more damage your lightning spear is going to do. But that is one super quick, simple, cheap workaround. So hopefully that helps you guys.